Happy Monday morning, everybody. So I wanted to come on and share a little bit about my story. And I had started a business probably like 10 years ago called SoulPlaces. And I thought it was such a fitting name for my business because I've always been learning. I'm a learner. And so I hire mentors when I'm like, oh, I'd like to know more about X, Y, and Z. So I hire somebody who I think would be a good fit for me. And so I was sitting in a class with a mentor, and I don't remember exactly what she was talking about, but she said those two words back to back. She said something, 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 SoulPlaces. And I was like, oh, that's it. That's the name of my business. And so I journaled about it. And I was like, what does SoulPlaces mean to me? And I came up with a bunch of different taglines. And, befriending your soul through journaling or horseplay or, any number of things, it's the places where your soul hides and shines. And so I was really familiar with the places that my soul hides because I'm an introvert and I like to hide. So I'm very familiar with where the soul likes to hide. And then I've also, over the years, I've had challenges with what I like to call melancholy or melancholia. It's kind of the old-fashioned term for depression. So off and on, I've had really dark phases in my life. Like the last 10 years in particular have been kind of dark. So my soul's been hiding. And but I had started a soulful journaling class like 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. And I was helping people discover the places where their soul hides and shines. And I'm very familiar with the shadow side. And I wanted to, part of what we teach is what we need to learn. So I was teaching people how to find the places that their soul shines. And it was a really exciting time for me, teaching journaling, sharing circle with, it was usually women. Men were invited, but it was usually women. So I love circles with women. And then, so SoulPlaces is kind of evolving now. I've always been a learner and I love science. I have a degree in animal science with a horse emphasis. So I love biology, I love physiology, I love the miracle of our bodies. And in psychology, human, horse psychology, animal psychology, it's all very miraculous to me. So SoulPlaces is evolving to be more, I've always wanted to be in service to people and figure out how best to do that with my gifts. And I remember in high school that I learned that my maternal grandmother had been diagnosed with Parkinson's. So I spent every spare moment in the library researching Parkinson's. Like literally my lunch hours, my study periods, I was in the library photocopying about how can we help grandma be better? How can we alleviate her symptoms? Just make her be better so she can be with us longer. And I literally had a binder, a 3-ring binder with a stack of papers that I copied from the library, and I would take home and I would pour through it for any connections as to like, what can we do for grandma? How can we make her better? And then shortly after that, I learned that my sister's father-in-law had really bad heart disease, and they were talking about heart replacement. So I went into the library again, and I researched about bionic hearts and how do you heal the heart and how do we keep my sister's father-in-law around longer. And then, so after high school, I got married. My mother-in-law was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease shortly thereafter. And immediately I was doing my research again. You know, by then we had internet and I was Googling ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. How can we make her better? I became her primary caregiver and was really frustrated with the doctors. They didn't have any solutions. They didn't want to put her in any studies. You know, she was willing to, you know, nothing you're doing for me is helping. So she wanted to be in studies, and they didn't have any at the time or whatever. So I was her primary caregiver, you know, day and night with her. How can we make Georgia better? How can we alleviate her symptoms? How can we get rid of this disease? And I've always had this belief that the body can heal itself if given the right circumstances. So we found some nutraceuticals that we put her on. And, you know, one day she comes shuffling out into the kitchen where I'm sitting with my husband and my father-in-law, and she's still semi-mobile at this point, and she goes, "You guys, I don't have hemorrhoids anymore." And we all, the three of us, kind of looked at each other like, okay. And she's like, "No, you don't understand. I've had hemorrhoids since the birth of my first child." And at that time, it was 40 years. She'd had hemorrhoids for 40 years. So we knew that this body was healing on some level. Even though she had Lou Gehrig's disease, we could see all of the symptoms there. On some level, her body was healing. So those nutraceuticals, though, cost us upwards of like $400 a month. And we ran out. And within a week, she was in a wheelchair, never recovered. She passed away. So we miss her dearly. And so I've come across this little yellow pill that it's all natural, and it's not upwards of $400 a month. It's $40 a month. And so I went into my science geek head and researched and was like, no way. Like, there's no way that this little natural pill can alleviate symptoms from over 200 diseases. And so I went on PubMed.gov, where all of the peer-reviewed science studies are. There's 24 peer-reviewed studies on this little yellow pill, which is unheard of. Like, nobody does peer-reviewed studies on an actual product. They usually do it on ingredients or things that aren't natural. So I did all the research and was like, okay, $40 a month, I'm going to give it a shot. And you know, within 30 days, my melancholia, you know, was better. My moods are much more even keel, and I've suffered from migraines over the years. I haven't had a migraine now. I think I've been on it for 2 months. I haven't had a migraine. You know, I always thought I was a pretty healthy person. So I was like, well, let's see what happens. And I've been really, really impressed with what it's done for me. But then also hearing testimonials of what it's been doing for other people, you know, it helps all sorts of diseases, over 200 different diseases that they all begin with oxidative stress. And this little pill helps get rid of oxidative stress, gives your body what it needs in order to be better. It gives your body the resources. Okay, I don't know what happened there. So, anyhow, hi Julie, good to see you. So where am I going with this now? So the evolution, hey Kathy, good to see you. So the evolution of SoulPlaces now is including this little yellow pill that I can't keep to myself. This is, you know, so SoulPlaces is where your soul hides and shines, and mine likes to hide. So I think nobody wants to know about this. I'm not going to bother anybody with this, you know, but I can't. If SoulPlaces is to be in the service of others, I need to share this. And if you want information, comment more information. You know, I'm definitely not gonna bother anybody. You know, if you see a post and it's about this and you're like, no, I don't know anybody with fibromyalgia or heart disease or Alzheimer's, or I don't know anybody that could benefit from that. So just scroll on past those posts. But that's what SoulPlaces is on the bottom of all my posts. That's my business, where I want to be in service to people, really live from that heart-centered place. So, you know, what we teach is what we need to learn, and I need to learn. You know, I'm so familiar with where my soul likes to hide that I need to learn those places where my soul can shine. And in the past, that's been with horses and animals and really intimate relationships with friends and family. So I want to expand that and be in service to more people. So, hey Nick, new friend from Decorah. So that's kind of the evolution of SoulPlaces. And I guess, you know, if you want information, comment below, and I would love to talk with you, or just learn more about you. You know, I really want to find those places my soul wants to shine. Hey Tracy. So we're just kind of winding down here. I was talking about my business, SoulPlaces, and the evolution that my business is taking, and wanting to be in service to others and help people find ways for their body to heal itself. So that's my sciencey, nerdy background. Has always felt that our body can heal itself if given the right circumstances. So that's kind of all I had to share today. So this is my first Facebook Live, so I'm really glad to have some of you pop on. If you're watching the replay, just comment replay in the comments, and I'll be on again at some point. So thanks everyone. Have a great week. Have a great holiday. Many blessings to you all. Bye-bye.